Patrick?
Yes, Joe?
Oh, sorry. Do you have a way to mute everybody?
Yes, I shall do that now.
All right. Not that I don't want to unmute people.
No, that's fine. Yep. All right, so I believe we are ready to go. So here is Joe Johnson this is a session on problem-based learning.
Hi. You have to excuse my use of Zoom as we go today. I am a Google Meet person. We use that primarily in our program, and so Zooms are a little foreign to me. So I will hopefully handle this well. I was given this directive to hold this meeting by my by my leader of our school. I work for a school called the Innovative Learning Center. We're based in Muskegon, Michigan, and we're charged to be innovative. We are just beginning our second year. Before my arrival here last year, our adult education department at Orchview Schools collapsed. There was mid-year, I believe half the staff, it was before I came in, half the staff was let go. There was some sort of drama that happened, and I don't have more, but the school was failing. And so a new team was brought in, and we were challenged to do something different. And we are not there yet, but we are trying. And what this is, it's our baby steps. And I didn't know that there was a blurb about our little session today until I logged in this morning and got that it's a tool for learner success. My presentation was originally titled Problem-Based Learning, a Beautiful Messy Journey, because it is not something that is clean lines. It is not something that is simple. It is a bumpy ride, and it's so worth it. And so I'd like to share a little bit about what we do, what we're trying to do, and where we'd like to go. We found primarily before we came into the system that we used an online program that delivered the content, or what we would call packets, which basically were copies of books where people just answered questions. And so I've been challenged with trying to find ways to people to be engaged learners. And this is what I have so far. So if I can share my screen. Let's see here. Share screen. All right. So this is a slideshow that I developed for this. Of course, I just said project-based learning. My original title was not a tool for learner success. It was a beautiful, messy journey. So I'd like you to start today with, and we're going to put some things in the chat. I am a yoga teacher and a mindfulness teacher. And so if you would, just indulge me for a minute, lower your eyes or close them and take some deep breaths. And just go back into, your education, into your experiences in the world of learning, and see if something pops out as something that was memorable, something that hooked you, something that made sparks happen and made you want to take part, participate in a different way. And so, how do I unshare? Sorry about the Zoom. And so if in the chat, you could put, maybe what I'm going to ask you, what made that a good experience? What were the key components in your experience that made it memorable? Anybody have anything? For example, I had an experience in school where a teacher really took me under their wing and made sure I felt important. So it didn't have anything to do with the content. It had to do with the relationship. Thank you for participating. I appreciate that. Thank you. Hands-on experiences, manipulatives. That's okay. We understand. You can communicate with us through the chat. That's great. So what kinds of experiences have been memorable?
I would like to share some
Thank you.
with my students. It was like when when you have a student who's been struggling for a long time and you try to explain and you try like different approaches, and finally it's like it clicks and they say, oh, I get it now. It's like you see that light bulb in their eyes, and they just get so excited and you feel so relieved as an educator. Finally, it's I did it. So that's it makes me feel really happy.
Yeah, so that's kind of one of the feelings we're going for, because what we're finding here is we have a lot of students who have, we're an alternative ed and an adult education building. And most of our students have been beaten down by the system. It hasn't worked for them. They've been told no, or you've done this wrong, or it has failed. And so they're so scared to even be creative or even put anything out there. They're so shy about it. And so looking at it differently and approaching learning differently is really what we're trying to do here. So excited to learn online resources. Okay. So I would imagine as adult educators and teachers that you guys try to do whatever you can to make that spark happen, to make the student go, oh, I can do it, or, oh, I am interested. And so I'm just going to share a couple of things that we've completed and a couple of things that we're trying out to be able to get those sparks with the scholars. We call them scholars here. A little bit more about me. I share my job with another educator. I'm a little bit more technical minded, math minded. She's a little bit more English minded, language minded. And we share the job, and we are both charged with providing coursework for the entire high school completion experience. And so we are students, we have over 200 scholars, and they are taking all of the courses. And so we don't have anything quite perfectly done, but we're trying as we go. And so I have a couple projects that I'd like to share with you today. Two new messages. Let me see here. Okay. Yeah, Jen said, mine don't like failing anything. I try to make that safe. We start with ridiculous Kahoots. Right. They're so traumatized by failing. They're even having a hard time even trying. Right. They're so deflated. And I think hearing's, yeah, great comments, everybody. Good job. So project-based learning has 8 main elements. I'll share my screen again to pop up a little graphic for those 8 main elements. Again, excuse my Zoom abilities here. So here's a nice graphic that shows problem-based learning. In the 8 base elements, there's 7 in the center that are in the orange colors, and the blue community partners and engagement around the edges. Leave that there for just a second. Luckily, coming from a place that where the learning failed completely and trying something new, I've been given a really great directive of do baby steps, try what you can, do whatever you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to look perfect. So as we develop projects and work through projects, we maybe don't land on all 8 of these elements. That's the goal as we revise and revisit our projects as we work through them and hand them out again to another student, is to have it be a full experience, but we are encouraged just to do baby steps. And so if you are interested in doing this kind of work, please know that baby steps are completely fine. The next one thing that I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out a way to to do math differently. And to do math differently, if you're a math teacher out there, math is the one subject that everybody hates. It comes like inherited. No, I can't do math. Math's not possible. My mom couldn't do math. My uncle couldn't do math. My whole family can't do math. So we have to look at it a little bit different. And so here's what I'm working on. So geometry in a new way. Here's our goals. I want to touch on these subjects in math, just a basic math course. These students are not ready for advanced concepts quite yet. So these math concepts, and so instead of giving them a packet, I gave them a challenge. And so the challenge, and this is the hook, this is, a lot of our students don't like to show up. They don't like to be involved. They feel like they're being forced, like education is being done to them. So figure out a way to get them actually interested. And so I've been saying to my students, crop circles, prove that aliens are not responsible for them. And then we have discussions about how we would prove that. So the first way to prove that is the project-based learning, sustained inquiry. So sorry, this is so jumpy because I have so many things I'd like to share, and I'm not so sure about Google Classroom. So I have a framework for the course. Let me make sure I'm showing the right thing here. Are you guys seeing my screen? Yes or no? Seeing my screen? Well, so here's a framework for geometry credit. We're working on different ways to set up the course so that it can be more, set up the courses so that they can be more individualistic, because our students need to work individually. We don't have time to service 200 different students all the time. And so I hope you're seeing the checklist for my framework for geometry credit. It's just a basic checklist that the students work through. They have to check in with me and document as they go. It has these attributes. One of the ways that we do sustained inquiry is through using that checklist. It keeps them on track. So I took a group of students to a lavender farm, which has a geometric design, to look at, we don't have any crop circles nearby in our town. So we went to the nearest thing, and they did some measurements and did some things that make oh man, I don't even know what's going on here. Rob, maybe you could help. Am I screen sharing still? There we go. Cancel. Do you see my face or do you see my screen?
Right now, your face.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. I'm so much not an online person, so please excuse my inability to do the Zooming. But we're trying to make the learning authentic by actually visiting a lavender field site. And we're using and utilizing the Unruler app to have the group interact with each other, because we're not in a classroom all together at the same time. And so if I'll show you my screen in the Unruler app. Screen. Oh man, I was signed in. So sorry. So we went to this Unruler app. Is I'm using it as a way to communicate and keep everybody on track. My hope is that we can use it at different times. I haven't put any due dates in. I have people. I post a prompt, and so our students we went on a trip to a lavender field, which has geometric designs to it. It's actually Sacred Geometry Lavender Field, and they posted. We even had a drone come and fly. So I had a student with a drone who took video, and we did some measurements. And so the idea was, what do we need to know to make something? If crop circles are not made by aliens, who's making them and how are they doing it? And so this is the closest thing in our community that we had to a crop circle. But so we went and measured it when we looked at it, and we're figuring out how to do that. And so that's our launch for the experience. And so if you look at the framework that we've developed, which is a working document, which means that we're going to fix it and update it as we go, as we get feedback from our students. So the field experiments section is this first section here. They learn about crop circles, they document it, and they learn about some geometric concepts you see there in the blue. They're given 1-point rubrics to complete for those learning experiences. And then we're going to make it more real. So then they have to learn geometric constructions. Those constructions are shown on the Unruler app. Go back. Oh man. In the prompts, I give examples of how to do a construction, and then they have to respond to that. And that is how we're going to keep track of what they're doing and stuff. Oh man. So sorry, I apologize completely. Let's see. I'm so unfamiliar with this type of presentation. So like feeling anything. All right. So the second, so that's how we deal with sustained inquiry, to keep them on track and try to hook them so that they're actually having an experience that's something that's real, that comes off the paper. The second part of project-based learning that we're trying to implement and use is authenticity. We make it authentic. So what makes an experience authentic? It needs to have an impact on people outside of the classroom. So the crop circles definitely are impacting in the world. It shows that geometry is out there. The importance of student choice. They get to design and build their own crop circle in some sort of way. We even have a field available for them to go out into and to make a crop circle. It gets to be their own design and their project. So as they learn the geometry with it, they can work as a group or individual to make it happen. It connects to the community. We went out into the community. The plan is to do some drone flying and show the community what we built in the end, and trying to make math a little bit more accessible and real. So probably your learning experiences that have been really great for you have been ones that are authentic, where you actually make something and you actually experience something a little different. The next set of things that we really try to, a mindset that we're trying to change and install in our students is that we are capable of critique and revision. A lot of our students have been told, like I said at the beginning, that they're terrible at this, terrible at that. They have a mindset that's fixed, that they can't do it, and that they've been punished along the way and they failed along the way. And so critique and revision done correctly is vital here. And we learn to give feedback. And so I'd like to play this video here called Austin's Butterfly to show a simple way for critique and revision and the approach that we try to take. Google Meet. Sorry about that. Always does that.
There's no sound. No, there should be an option to turn on the audio when you share.
Okay. Sorry.
Oh, no problem.
You're gonna have to unshare,
You
and then when you go to
unshare.
share, yep, and then when you go to share and you choose the video that you want to share, at the bottom, there's a box that says share sound. It's the window that comes up when
Okay.
you're sharing.
So all I have is share screen. Is there a way to do share the video?
No, so when you go, you have to unshare. So the window that comes up when you say you want to share something, it should show you all the windows that are open.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm just so used to Google Meets.
Right.
It's
So
okay.
so when you have that window pop up, it's gonna.
Okay, Chrome tab.
And then.
Oh, I see.
It's all the way in the bottom. It's
All
a little
right.
checkbox.
Also, okay, so it says also share. So thank you for helping me. It says also share tab audio. Does it go tab to the right or tab to the left?
That I
Anybody
don't
know?
know. I just know there's a box that says share sound. I don't know what
Okay.
you're seeing.
Let me see. Let's try again.
This is the butterfly that he picked. Austin
that
had to
work?
use this photograph as his model, and he had to draw an accurate scientific drawing of this butterfly. This is called a tiger swallowtail.
I knew it!
Can you tell, Toby, why it's called tiger?
Because it kind of have the stripes of the tiger right there.
Good. So here was Austin's job. He was supposed to do a scientific drawing of that butterfly. But remember, Austin was only in first grade. And you know what he did? He forgot to look like a scientist carefully. He got his paper and he just started to draw the image of a butterfly that he had in his head. And he wasn't looking like a scientist, and so this is what he drew.
Whoa.
It's not bad, and it is a butterfly, but does it look exactly like this?
No.
No, it doesn't yet. It doesn't look exactly like this yet. And so they didn't look at this and say, good, Austin, you're done. They said, Austin, good start. Now we can start giving you critique so you can do a second draft and make it better, and a third draft and make it better, and you can make it much, much closer to this. And he was ready to go. All of the first graders in his critique group sat on the floor like you guys are, and they decided to split their advice into two kinds. First, just the shape of the wings. And then when the shape was right, they'd give him advice about the pattern inside the wings. Alia, what would you say?
You can make it much pointier.
Good. These wings could be much pointier. Who else would add something? Atak, what would you say?
How about the angle? Because, not to be mean about
Yes.
the angle, it's just not exact, so...
Okay, so show me. Come on up here, Atak. Show me what you would ask him to do slightly differently.
like to make it a little longer,
Longer where? Draw where you would do it.
right there.
Okay, so pull this out longer.
Yeah.
That's very specific, Atak. Thank you. Jamila, what would you say?
It's like triangle?
Good. Jamila, I love that. So you're saying more like a triangle shape. And I agree. Well, you know what? Those first graders came up with most of those same ideas. And you know what Austin said? He said, okay, I'll go try. And he went back to his seat and he drew this.
Wow.
Does this look more like a triangle?
Yeah.
Yeah, Did he go out further, like Atak was suggesting?
Yes.
Did he add some jaggedness here,
Yes.
like Cindy? Did he get rid of that bottom thing?
Yes.
So he did listen to his friends, and he made it better. It's not perfect. Toby, what would you say?
I'd say don't put those little tail things so pointed in. I'd say put them more pointed down.
Good. Okay, and Ethan, what would you say?
I think you should make the wings like this, not like just like
Okay, he listened to his friends, and they said, this is really a lot better, Austin. That second draft really is better.
that. Maybe you can make a third one.
Good, maybe he could make a third draft. And so he did this draft.
That's his third draft.
That's his third draft, Hadley. That's just right. Elijah, what do you notice there?
Well, one wing's more pointed than the other, and that side is a little bit higher than the others.
Good. Coburn?
Right here, it doesn't have the inside thing still.
Ah, okay. Needs a little bit more of that notch. So, do you think maybe he should do a fourth draft?
Yeah.
Well, that's just what he said. He said, shoot, okay, I got round again. I'll go back and do a fourth draft.
Listen.
He listened. Does it look more even like Elijah was suggesting?
Yes.
Yeah, and does it look like it's coming out a little sharper, like Cindy was suggesting? And like Attack was saying, it's a little, the angle looks a little better. So now Austin was feeling really good. He said, am I ready to add some pattern? And they said, okay, why don't you try adding some of the pattern? And he did.
He's good at it. He is so good.
And then they said, Austin, you're ready for color. Let's look at his last draft. And what do you think? Did it come out really good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually looks way.
What do you think about how much progress he made? And Tak, what would you say about his progress?
He made like a lot of progress. He persevered doing it. His friends were honest with him.
What was it about the kinds of advice that they gave that allowed him to get better each time? Hassan?
Well, they told him what was wrong about it.
Did they say it's just wrong, or were they more specific than that?
They were more specific, but they weren't mean about it.
Great. Hadley.
Made 6 drafts.
And so is that something that other kids should learn from? What should we learn from that?
We can make other drafts if it's not right.
Good. So if it's not right, you can keep doing more drafts to make it better.
You just don't use things in your head. You want to use a sharp eye.
Good. He used the eyes of a scientist. Great.
So I hope I'm back. We try to share that video with our students just to get over the fear of doing things incorrectly. We find that our students have come here, they come to us, they're so deflated on their lives and in their education process that they don't want to try anything. They just want to know what the right answer is. Just let me jump through the hoops and give me the right answer. And that's not learning. And so it's really been a challenge trying to get people to move from a fixed mindset, like I'm stupid, I can't do it, I'm not capable of doing anything, to even try to have a growth mindset. And so I find that video helps us with that. So once we get through that, we have the authenticity, and we go through critique and revision. Then I guess I would like to tell you about a student that I've had. Her name is Ardell. One of the parts of PBL is community partnerships and engagement. So I'll share my little slides for that. With community partners in engagement, with the geometry group, we're partnering with a local farmer and visiting the local farm. But I did have a student who was in her 70s last year. She's in her 70s and she needed one more half credit to graduate, and it was a health credit. And Ardell's in her 70s. She doesn't need to know about most of the basics in health. And I was like, okay, Ardell, what do you want to do? You've been working in packets. You've been doing this book work for all of these years. And now you're here with me and we get to do something a little different. And what do you want to do for your health credit? And she really, really wanted to make an impact in the community and do something that would help people. And she was interested in human trafficking. And so she went to the Hope Project, which is a project here in our town, which helps people who have been abused and who have been trafficked. And we went there and we interviewed, what do we need? And she also called every helpline available on the internet and got good phone numbers to see to give to people if they do need help. She started out, here is a little some pictures about her critique and revision process. She took the lead on this. On the left there, we kind of laid out all of the areas that she wanted to address. She wanted to have people who were maybe interested in or struggling so much that they were thinking about suicide, people who needed grief counseling, people who have PTSD, people who have been abused. She wanted to be able to have some sort of resource for people to go to if they have any kind of barrier in their life. The second picture there is her getting some feedback from some other students, which was really neat to see. And then she was reworking it. And then on the right there is her public demonstration of her learning and of her product. That is another part of PBL, is having a public product. And so,
sorry to interrupt you, Joe, but the pictures are not on. Did you share the screen again?
the pictures are not on? Okay, sorry. I appreciate you letting me know. Let's see here. Share. Is that better?
Yep, there we got it.
There we go. Okay. And so on the left is the picture that I mentioned. That was just her rough outline of the communities that she wanted to impact and the barriers that she wanted to impact. And then the second picture is her getting critique and revision from some peers. And then she reworked it. And on the right is her public product. She ended up, which was really neat for our community, she ended up making if I can go back. She ended up making a bulletin board. And this bulletin board has these removable butterflies on it, and they're color coded. And on the back of the butterfly is phone numbers that work for that particular barrier. She gave me some feedback and she said, Joe, I'm really glad I'm doing this project, because I called every hotline. She had like 45 different hotline numbers for help for various ailments and difficulties. And she called all of them. And she said, I'm really glad I didn't really actually have a problem, because I was unable to get help on most of these hotline numbers. And so she chose the hotline numbers to put on the butterflies that were actually good hotline numbers that could actually help people. And so that was a really neat experience for her to be able to feel like she was going to eventually help another scholar or help another student by having these available. So that's public product. Another layer of project-based learning is reflection. And reflection just doesn't, it's not just the scholar that has reflection. As they finish their work and as they go through the work, we ask inquisitive questions about how it's going, how the learning's happening, what life skills you're learning along the way. But we also, when we're done with a project, we reflect as a team and as teachers. So how did that project go? What would we do differently? We know that this is a moving cycle and not something that's just done and stagnant. Another area of project-based learning, well, is the community partnerships and engagements. Anytime that just makes it so authentic to bring in speakers or bring in things that are in the community. It's really important. We try to give scholar voice and choice. In geometry, they get a lot of choice on their unique design and where to build and how to build their crop circle. It doesn't have to necessarily be in a crop. We may have students starting this in the winter. Maybe we're getting out snowshoes and making a crop circle or making some sort of design in the snow. I would love to get some feedback to any of you, anything that worked really well to give student voice and choice.
I have a question.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
So is your method, is it more like project-based learning? Is it the same
Yeah.
process that you follow, where
Well,
the teacher is more like a mentor than
an instructor? Yeah. So the way that our program is set up, there's only 2 of us, and we have a lot of students doing a lot of different things. So there's no lecture classroom groups of students working together. I kind of wish there was. I've tried to make small groups happen at various times, but everybody is like on their individual journey. So it has been a challenge trying to set up systems in place that we can reuse with different students. But also then we can make them authentic and make them really unique for the student to help them be motivated. We have a lot of students who like, why would I want to learn world history, or why would I want to learn US history? They're just not interested. And so we try to create individual projects for them to experience. So for example, later on today, I'm having a meeting with some specialists in history because I have a student who's interested in dance. And I'm hoping to hook her and say, okay, can we look at the history of dance and how did the wars and how did these big major events in the world affect dance and affect the way that we dance and the way that we express ourselves. So I hope I answered your question.
Yeah. So then, so your student will get a high school diploma, right? At the end.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. I mean, they still have to focus on the courses. You know, the course is the guideline, and the state standards are the guideline. But we're more interested in having them have an experience and get out into the world and interact with people than just memorizing facts. So that's what they used to do here before. Like, here, take this packet, write down the answers, and you're just copying and pasting, you know, just rewriting things down to more interactive, interacting in the world. A lot of our students struggle with mental illness or struggle with the law. And so helping them interact in the world in a positive way and getting them out of the house or getting them to face some of their fears and grow is really, really neat. I have a coworker who she runs a theater program, and the students earn English credits through theater. And they do the research, they set up a production, and they all come together, and then they have a performance. And then so these are students who failed out of school, who feel like they're not worth it, and that nothing is they've done anything right. And then all of a sudden they're on stage, you know, and it's not perfect. It's not like, you know, we're on Broadway or anything, but they're doing it, and the spark just comes out of them. Like, look, I'm doing something. So we're moving towards being completely project based, but it's not possible to do it all at once. So it's baby steps, a little bit here. I've been encouraged, like, if a student's interested, if a student moves towards me, it's like, oh, I might want to do a project, then we dive in. And we use traditional other methods like the online learning or the packet learning.
How
if they're
often
not
do you
quite
meet,
ready.
like, how often do you have like check-ins with your students, like when they go through the projects?
Yeah, that's a good question. Trying to figure out how that looks like. That's why that checklist with the framework is helpful. Our students move at their own pace. They have a lot of barriers, a lot of things coming that keep them from learning. I try to encourage them. I try to have okay, let's get the boundaries, let's deadlines and that sort of thing. But I had a deadline for a student this week and she ended up in the hospital. So we have to be flexible. The hope is that they become motivated to get it done because it is untraditional and it is something that is more tailored to them and their interests. So, but technically, our students are supposed to check in with us twice a week in some sort of fashion. So
Thank you.
you're
I'd
welcome.
like to learn more about your program. Yeah.
I'm so much better in person. I'm a little chunky on video. It's not my favorite way to present. So let me make sure that I went through all my slides here and we touched on all of the 8 parts. I am now starting to understand this Zoom. Thank you for being patient with me, like I said. So Scholar Voice and Choice. We only have about 10 minutes left. So I wanted to give you a chance, because this is what the blurb said about our course, to maybe brainstorm some ideas or to help each other out with some ideas. I'm not an expert in every high school area. My math is my specialty. And so we're looking for ideas, and you get ideas from your community too, right? What kinds of unique features does your community have that you can institute into a course that would be interested in learning? For example, our community has a couple of World War II boats, a submarine, and a big transport boat. And I'm working with some history teachers to come up with an experience to have them go and be on those boats and maybe even spend the night. So in project-based learning, I recommend that you do baby steps. You make a project or make something special for that one student that needs a little bit more. You could make a project that's a tearjerker, that is something that has emotional impact on the community, or you could design a project that's a big moonshot, like the theater program's a big moonshot. Like she was like, I want to build a theater in our school, and I want to have our students do theatrical performances. So maybe in the chat we could share some ideas of what we could do and what kind of projects could happen. I got a question. Is it one project per semester or multiple projects per semester? The way that my program works, we do have trimesters, and we try to keep them on the deadlines and in those, but it's not so much how it happens. My students are so individualized. We try to get them through a few classes a year. Some of them have been attending high school for 10, 12 years now. It's just because it's been so difficult for them to get stuff done. So, all right. So it doesn't seem like anybody wants to do the brainstorming, so that's fine. Any questions?
I have a question. Our program is online, so I was just wondering, you did talk about how you have more experience in Google Meets. Do you also have just an online project-based program with check-ins, or do you actually do all of this in person?
I have what I call a live link. And so my students are welcome to meet with me. It counts as attendance on the online live link. And that's where project-based learning could be utilized really well, because if they're willing to go out and about and get out of their house and go have an experience in your community, and then you can come together and have a chat about it and develop, okay, now what are we going to do about it? Now that we visited this site and we interviewed this person, what are we going to do about it that can bring back out into the community? So yeah, we do use it. Thank you for the question. Couple people had a couple ideas in the chat. You can find a need, your community, and implement a project around that. Yep, find a need. Our school community garden has varied projects, biology and math. Yes, that's great. That's awesome. Patrick, thank you for that. So we're not there yet. We haven't, so what's interesting is our whole school right now is in the middle of a messy project. And so everything is in development. We're getting feedback and pushback in all kinds of different ways. We have some staff members that are more traditional minded. They believe that the students need to be sitting in their seats facing forward with the teacher lecturing in the front all the time, all day. We push back a little bit and say, well, that's what they left. That didn't work for them the first time. It's pretty interesting project that I'm finding myself in the middle of. So it's good if you have support, if you have people who are willing to let you try and can help you fund what you want to do. I'm blessed in that sort of way that 100% my directors and the directors above him are 100% behind trying something different. And the community is definitely backing us with the funds that we need and the supplies that we need. So it's kind of neat.
So I know you're still in the process, but what would you say is sort of the best part of using this strategy, and what's the most difficult part?
Yeah, the best part of using this strategy so far for me is it gives me a chance to also be creative. I find just doing the same thing over and over again and trying to get students to learn from antiquated materials is frustrating. And so I get to okay, I have this student who has these multiple things going on. How can I design something so that they can be successful? And what's really great is when they start being successful, and if they never have, they just drudge and I've had so many students in the past, did I pass? Did it pass? Did I get the 60%? And we do credit, no credit now and here. So there's no percentages. There's no grading like that. It's just all critique and revision, all just let's move forward. Where is this going? How does this impact the community? How can we make it better? And it's more of an art than a science at this point, I think. So, and what's hardest is we're in the messy middle. We're totally in the messy middle, and convincing 200 scholars that have had terrible experiences in education or have failed in one way or another and ended up at our building, convincing them that they're capable and that they're unique and that they can grow their minds. And we just have to figure out how has been a challenge. So thank you for asking that question. Yeah. I think our time's almost done. Are we going till 10:30 or?
We can. Does anybody have any final questions or comments?
I would be more than happy to talk in person or get on just a Zoom individually with anyone who's interested in starting some project-based learning. Okay, good.
You can share your email in the chat, please.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
While she's doing that, I will also give you the link for the sketch form. Just as a reminder, only fill it out once after all of the presentations are done. So just hang on to it for now. And if you're attending,
Oh, I just had
sorry, if you're attending the other ones, I will
Great.
repeat it again as for those ones as well, but you can just sort of save it for now if you are only attending this one. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Joe.
No, that's okay. Just my computer is so slow. Like all the chat just filled right back up. So everybody's been chatting and I didn't have any of it. So, but making the learning come off the paper, making it come out of the computer. I taught woodshop for 22 years, and just such a growing, I feel like so many of our scholars are they've been so defeated in so many ways. Just if you can get them to build or create or make anything, it shows they really love it. They really love it. So one last thing about project-based learning, I was going to share, and maybe I'll share it here. See if I can put it in the chat. Just a little reading about what project-based learning is not. Project-based learning is the driver. The project has to be the driver of the learning. It's the reason we're doing the learning. It's not what we do at the end or what we do on the side. And so let's see if I can share. I don't know how that would work with Zoom. If anybody could give me any advice how to share a Google document on this Zoom. Anybody?
Your best bet is probably to just put the link to it in the chat and make
Yeah.
sure that has the setting for anyone can view has the link.
Okay. Thank you for that. I can make it actually show up. I apologize. Mine's been so glitchy, but the new one working. Let's see if I can share it with everybody. I'm pretty sure it's a PDF, so everybody should be able to just grab it.
Yes, it's saying you have to request access.
Says must have access to permission it.
Yes, so when you click on share at the bottom, there'll be one that says who can open it to change it to anyone with a link can view it. Should be able to.
Yeah, but that's the way this worked. Let me see if I can share it through.
If it's a PDF, another option is you can download it and then you can actually upload
I
the
shared it on my
file
screen.
into the chat.
Okay. Nope. Is that me? Oh man. Well, if you want to send me a message on email, and I can send you the link that way. Easier, I guess. So I can't seem to get it to work. My computer's glitching all over the place. So I apologize. I'm so sorry. So.
All right, well, any last comments or questions? Thank you very much for this presentation, Joe. As multiple people have said in this in the chat,
Yeah.
project-based learning and problem-based learning can be a really great way to engage, especially the learners who were not successful in some of the more traditional methods. We've done our alternative high school program has been using project-based learning for quite a few years, so that's we have had a lot of success with it. We will have the presentation materials, including her slides, and I assume this other file will be made available to you. Thanks everyone for attending, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the day. We've got a short break before the next session, which is getting started with math.
Thank you.
Thank you. So sorry for the technical glitches.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. So if you could help me figure out how to share the whole slides.
So your best bet's probably to download it as a PDF and then just email it to MACAEoutreach@gmail.com,
Okay.
which I can put that in the chat. Yeah, I put the Patrick's email in the chat.
Yeah, I think I have it. Okay, I will make sure I do that today.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a good day.